We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Okay. I'll prove it. I'll beat any man in this room in less than 60 seconds. Ego Thoughts is back, where I give you guys some of my thoughts pertaining things going on in the world of boxing, and you know I'm back. The kid with the golden voice is back, and the elite memory of an elephant. I had to make this video. So let me jump right into the mix and state my case, gangster. Devin Haney, at the beginning of April, posted this. It was April 4th of this year, 8:29 p.m. Devin Haney says, and I quote, "I told Eddie," meaning Eddie Hearn, "I'm not vacating nothing. I want all the smoke. It was all good just a week ago." What happened? Biggie, what happened? So fast forward to the future. The lie detector test determined that was a lie, because Devin Haney, as we know it, the information just came out yesterday from the WBC, from the top, that Devin Haney requested, not they gave it to him or they came up with it on their own, but the WBC threw Devin under the bus and said that he requested, his team requested to become a champion in recess. And let me make this clear. This is the equivalent of vacating the belt. This is the WBC and whoever else nicing it up and patching it up to make it sound, because Devin Haney, he was cheated with the Ryan and the Osterine. He took a bad beating. So the WBC's pretty much showing some compassion, because the headlines, Devin would get even more crucified if it said Devin Haney was stripped of his title. And that's what was going to happen if he didn't fight his mandatory, long-standing mandatory, Sandor Martin. So this was their solution, or nice way of vacating without the headlines reading Devin Haney was stripped. And your boy Ego predicted this. I got to be the greatest. There's nobody in this game like me. I keep it real. My predictions, my philosophies, my ideologies, they on point, man. Yeah, they on point. I told you that Devin, I didn't think he would fight Sandor Martin, and it's a shame, because I truly think, coming off the Ryan Garcia fight, that Sandor Martin is about as good as it's gonna get, you know, in terms of an opponent. I think Sandor Martin was kind of the ideal opponent. Now, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Devin Haney, I told you he would probably be looking at it from a different position, because I think that from the Ryan Garcia fight, Devin has a bruised ego, no pun intended. He has a bruised ego, so he's looking at it like, I have to fight a crafty guy off of a bad performance where I was dropped and hurt, and some would even say exposed. And from that, on top of that, Top Rank only bid $2.4 million to secure the fight. I'm only entitled to about 1.5, 1.6 million of that. So that's a pay cut from what I've been receiving. But the bruised ego needs to be set aside, because I'm here to tell you, off of that Ryan Garcia performance, I think that's kind of around the realm of where Devin's paychecks will probably be, unless he can somehow corral a big name like a Ryan Garcia rematch or Gervonta Davis. And for me, I don't think that's really going to be the case. Another good fight, really good fight, would be him versus Teofimo Lopez. But Teo has a fight this weekend versus Steve Claggett. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because anytime a fighter has a fight scheduled, you got to kind of see how that plays out before you move on to the next order of business. So as I've stated from the beginning, the second that this fight ended, that's why I know I was the first in boxing, because I said this immediately after the fight. I said, Devin is in between a rock and a hard place. Now you see it. He went from, I told Eddie Hearn I'm not vacating nothing, I want all the smoke, to that not being the truth, because you end up vacating your belt anyway, and now you're a champion in recess. So you can't say you want all the smoke and then go the other direction. Here's another thing with my elite memory that separates me. Devin also said, at first I didn't want undisputed, but now upon like further consideration, I want all the smoke, and I do want to go for undisputed at 140 pounds. So you could tell that the Ryan Garcia fight has completely shifted Devin Haney's mindset and derailed him, because everything he said before the fight, like, hey, I told Eddie Hearn I'm not vacating nothing, or yeah, upon further consideration, I do want to go for undisputed. All of these he's backtracking, and he's not. You can't say you want undisputed, but then you're letting a belt go to not fight a guy like Sandor Martin, right? And that's not a good sign. For me, that's not a good sign. And maybe there's something larger at play, like they're setting the stage for a lawsuit. I don't know, but Devin Haney has at least hinted or teased the idea of a potential Ryan Garcia complaint in court, right? And I've already made videos about that. So it looks like you're dressing it up and using like, hey, I wasn't able to defend my mandatory. Top Rank was the only one that bid on my mandatory. So Ryan Garcia hurt my brand and hurt me financially, physically, and mentally. And it looks like you're kind of setting the stage up. Like, imagine if somebody got in some type of accident and then they said, hey, I couldn't go to work, and then I end up getting fired from my job, so lost wages. That's what it kind of sounds like Devin Haney is trying to do, say that he's been financially impacted from the Ryan Garcia fight. This is just a complete nightmare for Devin the Dream Haney. I'm here to tell you, statements that he made and his team made publicly, all of that went up in smoke. Like when they told Ryan Garcia to stand in the center of the ring and trade. Now going forward, no one's going to even believe you in future fights. Like, let's say Devin were to fight Gary Antoine Russell or something, and no one's going to believe Bill Haney if he says stand in the center and fight like a man and all this type of stuff. Because when the going got tough, Devin didn't do that. In fact, when Ryan was hurting him, he was freezing up a lot, right? And you could keep saying, oh, it was Osterine. Osterine doesn't turn you into an X-Men mutant. Hey, bub, Berserker Barrage, drill power. You know, it's not going to turn you into some inhumanoid where you go from having no ability to a ton of ability. Cheating is cheating. I get it. That's why Ryan Garcia has been suspended, and everybody's good with that. You got the Haneyacks who are clamoring for any excuse to try to denigrate other people's name because they don't want to face the music. They'll say, oh, you're condoning cheating. I can't believe so many people are allowing Ryan Garcia to cheat. First of all, you're not going to blame this on me, and you're not going to blame this on the people. We didn't supply Ryan Garcia with drugs, supplements, and Osterine. So this literally had, because I get it a lot in the comment section, and it's funny, and you'll probably see it in this video or some of the other content regarding this subject matter, where people, they'll say stuff like, oh, Ego, you're condoning cheating. I ain't never condone cheating. I don't cheat myself. I don't do drugs myself. I've never done drugs. So why would I condone cheating? But again, this is emotional beta male energy. I've even read comments that said stuff like, oh, Ego's mad that Ryan got suspended. Why the would I be mad because another person got suspended for testing positive? What the that got to do with me? My channel is not suspended. My channel's credibility is not tainted. I didn't do drugs. I'm still able to make my wager. Why would I be mad? And that's how you know you're dealing with an emotional beta male. Somehow when I'm talking about boxing, they start talking about me. Oh, ego, you're this. Oh, ego this. I get blamed. This is not my battle. I'm not 140 pounds. I didn't miss weight. I don't have ostarine in my system. I'm doing my job in covering boxing, giving you my takes and my opinion. Hate it or love it, take it or leave it. Those are your options. But it's funny to see people try to flip it on me. And rest assured, the people who try to do this, one thing they won't do is actually respond to the boxing elements and the questions that I'm posing. Like when I say Devin's in between a rock and a hard place, what they won't do is tell you how he's not in between a rock and a hard place. That is the only thing you could do if you want to prove me wrong. You could say, oh, ego, you suck, and I'm unsubscribing for your channel, and this is messed up, we get it, and stop making videos. None of that is gonna work. The only thing you could do to change my mind is prove me wrong, and I know you can't do that. So we'll just keep pushing. Things have changed. That Ryan Garcia fight, I told you, sometimes it's like this in boxing, where one fight can change the whole trajectory of where you were going and where you were heading. And I seen this early on, that was the type of fight, because this wasn't, the reason it's so shocking is you had Devin Haney, who had a boastful team, and his dad in his corner and things like that. And what they said they were versus what showed up didn't really correlate, right? Devin has been on record saying, I'm the next Floyd Mayweather, pretty boy Floyd reincarnated. No, you're not, because nobody, drugs or not, has fought Floyd Mayweather and thrashed him around the ring and ever made it look like that. And the funny thing is, people keep saying ostarine, right? Some people don't even know how to say the word ostarine, but they're keep talking about the ostarine only. And then you got guys like Danny Garcia, who's a pro fighter, and he says in a brand new interview that Ryan, the way he performed, he didn't look like he was on roids to me. And that's exactly what I said. I'm not saying that he didn't do the roids, but I am saying is he needs a refund if he did. If he was intentionally trying to cheat, he needs to get a refund, because his stamina looked bad. It looked flat. He was turning his back, and he really wasn't looking sharp. Gervonta Davis fought a much sharper Ryan Garcia. The only difference is Ryan couldn't land because Tank was more put together, better defense. Tank is shorter than Devin Haney, so he was slipping under them shots and shifting and using some head movement, so he wasn't getting clipped. There's a difference in punching trajectories when you're punching downward and punching someone about your height. You know, your punches, you got to aim different. And I think Tank being small and shorter is kind of to his benefit, because he's smaller, so he's more like agile and cat-like, right? And he has better reflexes and clearly a better defense than Devin Haney. So we'll see how it plays out, but I had to make this follow-up video. Devin Haney has now started the process of backing off the blocks from things he said. He said he wasn't vacating nothing at all, and he wants all the smoke, and he wants to unify. But by being a champion in recess, saying, oh, I'm mentally, physically, and emotionally damaged right now, and I can't fight my mandatory, that's showing you how bad the Ryan Garcia fight was for him, because it made him reconsider everything. And now it's out the window. Like he said, he wanted to be undisputed. Dropping the belt is going the opposite way of being undisputed. Can you imagine Terrence Crawford doing this, right? Where Terrence Crawford says he wants to be undisputed again at 154. If he beats Madrimov, I truly think he's going to try to pursue some of them other belts, no matter who it is, because that's who Crawford is. But Devin Haney said he wanted to be undisputed upon further consideration, but then he's requesting to be a champion in recess. So Ryan messed some things up here and threw a monkey wrench in their whole program to the point where I don't even know what Devin Haney should do next. That's just my honest opinion, because Sandor Martin, as I've stated, was about the safest option, and he wasn't a easy opponent, but he's a bit safer than some of the other options, in my opinion. Now, Sandor Martin, I don't know if he's good enough to beat both Alberto Puello and Gary Antoine Russell. So by the time Devin gets his mind right, if he wants to come back to 140, likely that WBC belt will be in the hands of one of those three people, right? And if Sandor Martin is good enough to beat both Alberto Puello and beat Gary Antoine Russell, that means he's really good, because he beat Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, and he retired Mikey Garcia. So if he beats these two fighters, Puello and Gary Antoine Russell, then that just shows where he's at, his level, and his confidence will be crazy. And Devin, meanwhile, is on the sideline. Or let's say Puello beats Sandor, then he's probably going to rematch Gary Antoine Russell. So Devin, if he comes back, he's going to have to fight likely Puello or Gary Antoine Russell. It's kind of a round robin, so that's why there's a lot of ifs right now, and I don't know who the last man standing is. But the WBC already outlined it, that Devin Haney is a champion at recess, Sandor Puello, and then after that, the winner needs to fight Gary Antoine Russell. So that's a challenge. You know, who else is at 140? Liam Paro, Pitbull Cruz. You know, I don't really even know where Devin Haney even attempts to go. Or if he moves up to 47, there's killers there. And here's the downside. He could try to approach Barrios, but Barrios is likely to fight Pacquiao, according to the latest rumors. But here's the thing. If Devin steps foot at 47, there's a guy named Jaron Boots Ennis, who, since Errol Spence and Crawford have decided to move up to 54, Jaron Ennis is looking like the man. So him being aligned with people that Devin has worked with, signing with Eddie Hearn in rematch room, the pressure will then be on Devin to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. And to me, that's a terrible fight for Devin Haney. Terrible, based on the styles of Jaron Boots Ennis. So I don't even know where he goes. Even if he goes to 47, the pressure will be on to fight the likes of a Jaron Boots Ennis. And stylistically, if you're getting hurt by Ryan Garcia, who looked, to me, didn't even look good outside of the moments where he was like letting his hands go, then Jaron Boots Ennis is a nightmare. That's 7 more pounds. You have limited power at 35 and 40. How do you even fend off an attack from Jaron Boots Ennis? You know what I mean? So, and Jaron Ennis needs the opponent. He needs a name, because all the other good names kind of moved up. Virgil Ortiz moved up. Errol moved up. Crawford moved up. You know, all these guys are moving up. So Devin Haney would be the biggest name that he probably could fight that's realistic at 4'7". So Devin can't make 35. 40 has killers. 47 is not as popping as it once was, but they still have some really good fighters like Barrios, Stanionis, and again, Jaron Boots Ennis. So again, where does Devin Haney go? He might just be better off suing Ryan and try to win a bunch of money, because he coming back to a world full of sharks. Even the Ryan Garcia rematch, that's a do or die fight. It's a big fight. You know, people would want to see it based on all the drama, but that is an extremely dangerous fight, because if Ryan passes all his drug tests and you fight him and it's the same outcome, then you'll have no excuses, and then it'll actually hurt, because people will say, see, I told you he beat him in the first one. It wasn't because of the picograms or whatever they're saying of Osterine. So tough choices ahead lie for Devin Haney. I've told you that from the beginning, and you're seeing it. So I can't wait. And Bill, who's normally very vocal and putting out comedy videos and stuff, he's been very quiet. And the thing is, initially, Bill Haney said that we're not negotiating a fight until Ryan is punished, until his suspension is known. But guess what? Now that the suspension came out last Thursday and they're vacating the belt, your world still needs to go on whether you had that performance or not. Sandor Martin is owed the opportunity. He didn't have Osterine and cheat and do all that. That was Ryan. So what are you going to be paranoid throughout the rest of your career versus everybody, despite the fact that no one else did these things except for Ryan Garcia? Man.